All right, folks, we have a heck of a lineup for you today, so welcome back and a quick look at the topics. In Louisiana, there is a crackdown on litterbugs, but is the law constitutional or just trash?
That joke was garbage.
I thought it was hilarious.
It was great.
See how I did that?
I liked it. I like dad jokes. That's all.
Just trash?
Just trash.
They're picking up litter?
I got it. I got it.
All right. Also in Louisiana, a festival turns into a nightmare for some 18 people after a man plows into a crowd while drunk. In Tennessee, a school board member is under review after telling a high schooler she is hot in the middle of a public meeting. We'll talk about that. In Kentucky, the winner of the $176 million Powerball is arrested for the third time since winning. He just can't seem to stay out of trouble, Kelly. We're going to talk about him.
Gotta hate that.
Yeah, we got all this plus segments including They Stole What?
What?
True Crime Time Machine, and a new segment we're calling Utterly Unrelated. It's a jam-packed show today. Some 14 or so stories we're bringing you. So let's get into it on Crime Wire Weekly. I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Kelly James.
Kelly, it's finally after Easter.
It is. I won't have to say Happy Easter for following up.
You'll probably say it next week.
Yeah.
Then I'll be like, it's going to be a year from now, y'all. If you listen a
Merry
few weeks
Christmas,
ago, Kelly's been, she's been wishing Happy Easter for like 4 episodes now.
I love Easter, okay? I like the pastel colors.
Hey, I get it.
Hey, speaking of saying stuff, did you look at your TikTok feed?
My TikTok feed.
Your TikTok feed when you posted some of the previews of some of our episodes, because I was some of our stories, and people got big mad about our reporting on the teacher who hit the vape.
Man, it hit a nerve.
Dude.
Everybody on there is telling me to leave that lady alone. Y'all know I do these little, if you follow the Crime Wire Weekly Facebook, I do a lot of these little captions, if you will. It's kind of like a headline of a particular story that we covered on each show. And one of those you likely saw was about the lady who hit the vape, and she's a teacher, and it was testing week. And man, everybody on TikTok must hit them THC vapes. That's all I got to say, because they come at me, what? How is that news?
Free Becky.
Yeah, free Becky.
Don't kill the messenger, man. We're just telling you what made the headline.
Yeah, they're like, we don't blame her.
I like my teacher's high.
Hell yeah. So anyway, go check out the TikTok if you want to. I think it's at Exposed something.
Podcast host.
Yeah, there you go. So go check that out. All right, let's get into it. We're starting out in Louisiana, and littering in Louisiana is no longer just a bad habit. It's increasingly likely to result in a ticket. Now, that's thanks to a strengthened statewide enforcement program that lets everyday citizens report offenders directly. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser and state agencies are ramping up efforts to combat the notorious litter problem. It's estimated it costs taxpayers about $100 million annually to clean up the state. Under a new system that took effect this year, witnesses can actually call an anti-litter hotline and provide key details like a license plate number, make, model, location, time of incident, and any photos or video. They sign an affidavit, and the violator then receives an official ticket in the mail with no knowledge of who reported them. Boy, we're going to get into this in a second.
Man.
Previously, the hotline launched in partnership with the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, and the Lieutenant Governor's office resulted in mostly warning letters. Last year alone, the state mailed out 870 such notices, but a law passed during the 2025 legislative session ended that. This, what's known as Act 67, enforces authority and expands it, which allowed state park rangers to issue citations for litter violations anywhere in Louisiana, not just parks. So if you reported someone littering, you sign an affidavit, don't worry, they won't know you reported them. That from Billy Nungesser, and I'm going to tear into that. We have a very dirty state, and if you keep your pedal on the gas for the next 5 years, we can clean up the state. I'm telling you, we're making progress. And the penalties in this, folks, are no joke. Convicted litterers face fines ranging from $175 to $1,000 plus court costs. So, for example, I'm going to give you simple littering, which is like if you have a truck bed and you have a Walmart bag in there and it flies out on the highway, you can get up to a $175 ticket. Mm-hmm. Intentional littering, which would be like tossing a Coke can out of a window, up to $250. And gross littering is the third level there, and that's also known as illegal dumping. You have a couch that you want to get rid of and you pull up and you just push it out of the car. That is considered gross littering, and you can get $1,000 for that. And I agree with that, incidentally, but I'm going to get into the process. Offenders must also complete up to 8 hours in litter abatement work, which means they're going to be picking up trash on the side of the interstate. And None Guesser is also pushing education and prevention with this bill. So, Kelly, give me your thoughts, and then I'm going to give you mine.
Okay. I think that this bill's probably had good intention. Like there's great. So you said the couch thing, and that's kind of funny because that just happened.
I saw that out in front of your, someone, right behind your fence.
Someone threw a whole couch out right behind my fence of my home, and I'm like, are you serious? Now, let me tell you what happened about 5 months ago. Someone threw a mattress out, and it landed right up against my fence, and then rats got in it and started breeding, and we started having a rat problem between me and my neighbors because of all these rats. Do you know, it took me about 2 weeks making phone calls, trying to get someone, and no one wanted to take responsibility for the mattress. So I got mad, and I was like, well, what if I just drag it out in the roadway and then someone hits it? Do you care then? And they're like, ma'am, you can't do that. Well, then someone needs to come get this, because I can't take it, in my car to, who's responsible? Right. So part of me goes, hell yeah, when these large objects are just being dumped because people don't want to go pay the fee to go to the dump and dump it. Mm-hmm. But like an unintentional bag flying out of your truck bed, that's kind of steep.
Yeah. I agree. But let me tell you my problems with this. And look, nobody out there detests litterbugs more than Jim Chapman. I promise you, I can't stand it when I see people litter. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of problems with this bill, though. First of all, Billy Nungesser is full of shit when he says that you can remain anonymous. And let me tell you why. In the Constitution, you are guaranteed to have the opportunity to face your accuser, which means if you go to court, if you say, you know what, I didn't litter, and you go to court over this, you can get what's called discovery. And part of discovery is who reported you. And that's very important in this case, because if you have a pissed off ex-wife or you cut a guy off in traffic, and just because he thinks it's funny and he wants to waste your time, and believe it or not, there are people out there like that, they can report, oh, this guy littered. And they're going to send you, you won't even know anything happened until you get the ticket in the mail. Right. And they're going to say, a freaking month ago, you threw a Coke can out. Well, if Jim Chapman got that, because I know I don't litter, I would know right off that's bullshit, and I would want to know who reported it. And I have a right by law to know that, because it's very important. If you have someone out there that is maliciously saying that, and it turns out to be your ex-wife, it'd probably be good for the police to know that.
And for a fact that that's going to happen. It's
100% that's going to happen. And I'm not saying, I'm sure it's going to be a low percentage of what's out there, but if it's one, there's no way this is going to hold up in court to me. We already pay people to enforce littering law. They're called the police. They're, and I know
litter abatement programs too.
Well, they pick up the trash, but they don't enforce it. The police enforce litter law, and we already pay them through tax dollars to do that. I know they don't necessarily want to waste their time, nor do I want police going out there. But if it's a problem, that's who's paid to report, write tickets, those sort of things, because this leads to other things. The next thing is you can report people not wearing a seatbelt. And then you can report people speeding. And then next thing you know, it's the Walmart checkout. Yeah. The self-checkout, right? The citizens policing themselves. And I just don't agree with this. I hate litter bugs. I appreciate the spirit of the bill. But there are way too many problems with this. There's way too many people that could do this for malicious reasons. And unless they required some sort of video proof, I don't think you should just be able to send somebody a ticket.
Yeah, I don't either. And so my mind would go more towards like our waterways. You know, people dump in our waterways to try to just get rid of things. And it does cause, you know, people that aren't from here, you know, we do have people that'll throw like refrigerators and things like in the ditches and stuff like that. That to me, if you saw someone doing that, I think people should be held accountable for that. I totally agree.
Yes.
But like you said, you know,
you need some sort of proof, though. You can't just say someone threw a couch.
Yeah, because you have a right, like you said, to discovery. But, you know, how can you possibly defend yourself 2 months later if someone says that you did something? You're like, wait, what? Like, what?
Prove to me I did.
Prove, yeah. And so what's likely they're thinking is going to happen is they know that a lot of these are going to get thrown out in court, but then you're backing up the court system with things that are going to just be bullshit and somewhat, you know, they're not going to hold to. So maybe it needs some refinement here. I agree. I like the spirit of the bill, but I come on, like the smaller. I mean, I know you're not supposed to throw cigarettes out the window, even cigarette butts, right? Yeah. And you can get a ticket for that. But people who are just wanting to get people in trouble or cause them problems, that's what's going to take over here.
There are some people that just don't have good intentions, and they road rage with you, and they may just do that just because they got nothing better to do.
Next time you piss me off, I'm going to write Jim Chapman on a Walmart bag, and I'm going to throw it behind your car and take a picture of it and say, "See?"
Right. Well, according to this bill, I'd have to pay a ticket over that, whether I did it or not.
And then all of a sudden, there's a Walmart bag war. You and I taking pictures.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to, well, actually, we're going to stay in Louisiana. We're going to go to New Iberia. A 57-year-old man was arrested Saturday after his vehicle plowed into a crowd of parade goers at a New Iberia festival. So this included injuring 18 people. Louisiana State Police identified the driver as Todd Landry, and troopers say he was driving while impaired when the crash occurred at around 2:30 p.m. near the intersection of Savannakett Street and Melansaw Road in the Broussard area, which is just outside of New Iberia. According to investigators, Landry's truck struck multiple pedestrians participating in the parade. The Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office confirmed that 18 to 19 people were evaluated and treated at area hospitals, with some sustaining serious injuries. Several victims were reportedly trapped under the vehicle or involved in secondary chaos, including a flipped golf cart, before being freed. Landry showed obvious signs of impairment at the scene, troopers said. A breath sample later revealed a blood alcohol concentration of 0.137, nearly twice Louisiana's legal limit of 0.08. He was taken into custody and booked into the jail on the following charges: driving while impaired, his first offense, 18 counts of first-degree negligent injuring, careless operation, open container of alcohol in the vehicle. But the crash does not seem to have been intentional, according to the sheriff's office. Louisiana State Police Troop 1 is continuing the investigation. Festival organizers and attendees described the scene shifting rapidly from celebration to chaos as the vehicle entered the parade route. Video footage circulating on social media showed injured people on the ground and first responders rushing to assist. Many of those hospitalized have since been treated and released. The Louisiana Lao New Year Festival is an annual cultural event celebrating the Laotian community in the region with parades, food, and traditional performances.
Yeah. First of all, I have a problem with the sheriff saying it wasn't intentional because you got behind the wheel drunk. Now, it may have not been his intent to plow into 18 people, and I'm not saying it was, but that is what happened, and that was not an accident when you choose to get behind the wheel drunk, which is what he did. He could have killed 18 people.
Yeah.
And so this is a question and it's a concern. You know, this is his first offense DWI. It's not like his fourth. So typically with first offense DUIs or DWIs, it's pretty much a slap on the wrist, it seems like these days. I don't know how much the plowing into 18 people will play a part in this, but I sure hope it plays a big part.
Yeah.
Could have killed 18 people.
Absolutely. I mean, you're driving a bomb down the road under the influence.
Why? Yeah.
And, you know,
too many options.
I obviously wasn't there, but usually parade routes have barriers and it's very clear that there's a parade route there or, you know, there's a celebration going on. So you must have been pretty damn impaired to miss all of that. and then potentially take the lives of people. And you have to think long term. If you've got broken legs, broken limbs, you might have hit somebody who climbs a power pole for a living. And they're the breadwinner of their home. You've now very much affected long term some people's livelihoods and possibly their way of living. So it's more than just injuring people. I mean, long term, these people are going to face some serious, potentially some serious struggles as a result of this. Did they say if there were any children? Have you seen any updates? I'm assuming there were.
I would assume that at a festival, I'm sure there was. I haven't seen. But
hey, prayers to the people that were involved in that, and for a speedy recovery, and that people can move on quickly from this one. But you can't just say sorry when you hit 18 people.
No, so we'll keep y'all posted for sure on the sentence for this one, because it'll be interesting to see what this first offender gets sentenced to, even considering the extenuating circumstances. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go on to Tennessee, and a Washington County school board member is facing formal review after a video of him telling a teenage female student, quote, "God, you're hot. You know that?" unquote, by placing his arms around her during a public meeting went viral. This sparked outrage, obviously, among parents and calls for his resignation. The incident occurred last week. This was at the regularly scheduled Washington County School Board meeting. A high school student had just finished presenting research comparing different schools when District 1's board member Keith Irvin, seated next to this female student, made the remark and asked where she attended school. Video footage even showed Irvin putting his arm around the student as he spoke to her. Superintendent Jerry Boyd described the moment as creating an immediately uncomfortable situation in the room. In all honesty, it certainly was an uncomfortable situation. There's a lot of nervousness in that room, Boyd said. He also added the board expects a high level of professionalism, and certainly it's being discussed and questionable whether or not the comment met that standard. I think that's putting it very politically speaking. Yeah. He also said, I believe the general belief is no. The meeting continued when the student basically sat back down because, according to the school board, there was no immediate threat at that point in time. The district board's chair described the comment as grossly inappropriate, and the full board is now reviewing the matters. Officials say they will take action if it's deemed necessary. Irvin has not publicly responded to the controversy, and the student's family also declined to comment. Parents, however, reacted swiftly and sharply. Hillary Haley, a district parent, said the comments were unacceptable. As a member of the school board, he's responsible for our children's health and welfare and safety and education. And the display he put on tells me he should be nowhere around our children. The clip spread rapidly on social media, prompting a petition and planned protests demanding Irvin's removal. Some parents have questioned whether Irvin, who faced prior discipline, not for something like that, but he's been in trouble before in the school board, remains fit to serve. Washington County officials emphasize the student's safety and professionalism are top priorities, and the board is expected to address the process soon, though no specific timeline for a decision has been announced publicly. So before we get to your comments, KJ, on this, I want everyone out there to hear the following short clip, because it's important that you hear this firsthand. So here's that clip.
God, you're hot. You know that? Hey, where do you go to school at?
I go Crockett.
All right.
Don't you use your own perception of life to determine what the hell is going on sometimes? Because, when I think of high school kids, which I taught them for a long time, I can never, not one time, ever think that I never thought that a kid was hot. The choice of wording is disturbing. Now, would you say a young girl was beautiful, or that a young man would be handsome, or was handsome or something? Sure. You tell them that at prom. Oh, you look so nice. You look handsome. You look beautiful. It's a very respectful way of telling a child. But what in the hell? Why would you look? How inappropriate in front of other people and openly, and then reach over and hug her. God, you're hot. That's weird. That is weird.
Yeah, it's cringy as fuck.
Yeah.
pardon my French, but it sickens me out. Y'all, this is an older man. And as he's saying this, he's pulling her towards him. And let me tell you, there's such a thing out there as a Freudian slip. Mm-hmm. And all that basically means is something you think you accidentally say. And I can tell you, this guy did not plan on that coming out of his mouth in public. That, in my opinion, was a Freudian slip. And this guy's got issues. Because that's what he was thinking in his head, and it just came out.
Yeah.
Before he knew it.
And it had nothing to do with anything that they were talking about.
He was looking at her and thinking she was hot, and it slipped.
Yeah. If that was
he ought to be out of there now.
He's too big of a liability. And I'm not saying that he's a predator who's going to run out and just start, raping kids or something. But what I'm saying is that if you can't control yourself in a meeting in front of other people and grabbing
high school kids and saying, God, you're hot, and putting your arms around her.
Yeah.
Inappropriate, man.
Yeah. I don't think there's any defense of that.
Nope.
At all. I don't know what he's going to, no wonder he hadn't said anything.
Yeah, what do you say?
Oh my goodness. All right, let's go to Indiana, where a mother is facing 9 counts of first-degree murder after prosecutors say she lured the father of her 2 young children with the promise of a late-night surprise back massage into her car and then shot him execution-style in the head before driving to his parents' suburban home and gunning them down as well. Jenna Strubble, 30 years old, of St. John, Indiana, is accused in the triple homicide of 32-year-old Jacob, who went by Jake Lambert, and his parents, 54-year-old Stacy Ford and 55-year-old Patrick Ford. The killings occurred in the early morning hours in Chicago's far south suburbs. Strubble, I keep saying Strubble, it's Strubble, which is...
That's okay.
Yeah, but she's like in trouble, and her name is Trouble. It's kind of interesting. Strubble, you know? All right, Strubble picked up Lambert between 11 and 11:30 p.m. on March 22nd. Instead of heading home, she told him she had a quote-unquote surprise and offered to give him a back massage because he had been complaining about back pain. She pulled over on Burnham Road, which is near this small village, and instructed him to remove his shirt and hat, recline in the passenger seat, and lie face down. Strubble then used a massage gun she had purchased and rubbed his back for approximately 20 minutes. So It sounds like things were going pretty well.
Yeah.
But
in the car?
In the car. So,
hey.
But
midnight delight.
You can't deny. You know that's what he was thinking, right? This is going to get
yeah. Pulling that massage gun out and everything.
Yeah. All right.
What's she going to do with that gear?
But then Lambert criticized her massage technique.
There you go. There you go.
All right.
You want to mess it up quick? Criticize it.
Yeah. But then this is beyond just almost jokes because Strubble allegedly reached under the seat for a Glock handgun that she had bought in December.
Oh.
And then she had fitted it with you ready for this? Silencer that she ordered online months earlier. Prosecutors say she held the gun to the back of his head for about 8 minutes while contemplating whether to pull the trigger before firing the fatal shot.
Holy crap.
After the shooting, Strubble allegedly drove to the Ford family, which was on the East Norway Trail in unincorporated Crete Township, where she fatally shot both of Lambert's parents. Court documents state she had previously described them as overbearing. Strubble then returned to her home in St. John, where her 3-year-old and 4-year-old were, and the children were both parented by Lambert, and they were both staying at the residence. She was arrested there later that day, and after making incriminating statements to family members, a firearm recovered from her home matched the murder weapon. In shocking new details revealed in the prosecutor's findings, Strubble told investigators she had also considered killing her own parents, but was unsure whether she would have the, quote, nerve to do it, end quote. Strubble waived extradition from Indiana and is being held without bond at the Will County Adult Detention Center in Joliet.
I mean, I don't even know what to think about that. This thing starts off as something fun, and this woman just absolutely lost her mind.
This was premeditated.
Criticized about her technique.
She was looking for an opening. You don't buy a silencer. You don't need a silencer.
I got a silencer.
I'm not riding with you then.
Well, I mean, I don't have it for a pistol. That is kind of weird for a pistol, but you do when you got an AR-15.
I know that. I know. But I'm saying...
Shoot them things and blow your
I'm saying she just bought the silencer in December, and then she's got it fitted for a pistol in her car.
And then why go kill his parents if it were not premeditated?
Right.
Like that right there completely closes the whole I didn't plan on doing it temporary insanity plea.
Yeah. I'm wondering if she was...
Because they were aggravating or whatever you said.
Yeah, overbearing.
Yeah.
So what it sounds like, if she wanted to kill her own parents too, and again, this is just my own opinion. There's nothing that I know about this case beyond what I've told you, but maybe they all were sensing there was something going on with her, and everybody was kind of being critical of whatever that might be, and that's why she wiped everybody out. But I think that silencer is going to play a big role in her not, she's not gonna be able to argue that it was
just spur of the moment.
Just spur of the moment.
Yeah,
I think,
temporary insanity.
Yeah, I think that purchasing of that silencer is gonna play a big role in that.
Probably right. All right. Well, I wish I could say we're going to lighten it up a little bit, but not quite yet. We are, however, going to jump on the true crime time machine.
Dooby 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 doo.
And this time we're not going far from home. We're going to go to New Orleans.
Ooh.
And I'm going to tell you about April 10th of 1834.
Okay.
This day in 1834. So on the morning of April 10th, 1834, flames tore through an elegant 3-story mansion on Royal Street in the heart of the French Quarter to the city's elite. It was the home of Madame Delphine LaLaurie.
That's easy to say.
Yeah, she was a prominent Creole socialite known for her wealth, lavish parties, and seemingly refined manners. But what rescuers uncovered amid the smoking chaos would expose one of the most barbaric episodes of cruelty in the antebellum Louisiana history. A secret attic chamber where enslaved men, women, and children had endured systematic torture. Firefighters and bystanders rushed to the scene as smoke billowed from the kitchen. Inside, they found a 70-year-old enslaved woman, the household cook, chained by her ankle to the stove. She had deliberately set the fire. She later confessed in a desperate suicide attempt to escape the fate she feared most, being dragged upstairs to the torture room, a place where no one ever returned. While Madame LaLaurie and her husband, Dr. Louis LaLaurie, frantically saved their fine furniture and valuables, they refused to hand over the keys to the slave quarters. Bystanders, including Judge Jean-Francois Canog, forced their way in, and what they discovered in the attic was beyond comprehension. 7 enslaved people, more or less horribly mutilated, were found suspended by their necks with spiked iron collars that prevented any movement. Their limbs appeared stretched and torn from repeated abuse. Many were emaciated, covered in scars from whippings and sharp instruments, and too weak to walk. One elderly woman had a deep head wound. Another wore heavy irons on her feet, and a boy told rescuers he had been chained there for 5 months, fed only a handful of meal each day. He was also subjected to daily beatings. The victims were carried on stretchers to the city government building just blocks away, where they received medical care. Local newspapers, including the New Orleans Bee, reported the scene in graphic detail and condemned the barbarish and fiendish atrocities committed by Madame LaLaurie. The LaLauries fled the city as an enraged mob ransacked the mansion, destroying furniture and looting what remained, and the couple eventually escaped to France, where Delphine lived until her death in 1849. She never faced criminal charges in the United States for the horrors committed under her roof, and prior whispers of LaLaurie's cruelty have circulated in New Orleans society. In 1828, she had been investigated for abusing enslaved people and forced to forfeit several of them, yet her wealth and social standing shielded her until a fire stripped away that facade. Now, the discovery sent shockwaves through the city and fueled abolitionist arguments against the institution of slavery. And even today, the LaLaurie mansion still stands on Royal Street, a haunting reminder of the brutality that once hid behind its wrought iron balconies and Creole elegance. And they even do ghost tours, which recount the tale of thousands of visitors each year. though many of the most gruesome later embellishments, such as victims with brains stirred by sticks or limbs reset into grotesque shapes, were added decades after the event and lacked support of the 1834 actual account. The events of 1834 on April 10th remind a stark chapter in New Orleans' dark history, one that even a fire could not burn away. And that is your true crime time machine. What happened on April 10th of 1834?
You know, when you go to New Orleans, if you've never been there before, there is a lot of dark history, but also a lot of creepy stuff, you know.
I know that mansion. It has a big placard in front of it.
Well, have you ever been to the Death Museum in New Orleans?
Yes.
Okay, I took my students there on a field trip because why not? They had serial killer stuff there, and I wanted, to give the kids an exciting kind of weird field trip. But damn, man, people are just capable of so much that a lot of us can't even contemplate. You know, I work so hard to try to protect the animals and creatures. I just can't imagine going to the level of hurting a human.
Right.
But I'll tell you this, if there's a woman I am obsessed with right now in New Orleans, have you ever heard of Yvonne LaFleur? Have you seen her on TikTok?
No.
Oh my gosh. Y'all look her up if you have a second, but she's I would say she's a socialite, but she's an elderly woman now, but she owns a fine clothing store, and she has just got all of the New Orleans class and pomp, and circumstance, and she's just lovely. So you have these lovely people, and then you have crap like that's happened in that, in New Orleans. It's
right.
A stark contrast.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, let's go back to current times. And I don't think they had the Powerball back then, do you, in the 1800s? All right, well, we got it now, but there's a big story circulating on this one. So James Farthing, the Kentucky man who claimed a record $167.3 million Powerball jackpot less than a year ago, has been arrested for the third time since his windfall. Now, Farthing, who's 51 years old, of Georgetown, was taken into custody Saturday on charges of second-degree burglary and possession of marijuana following an alleged break-in at a residence in Lexington. According to police reports, a homeowner reported seeing Farthing on security cameras attempting to enter through a side door. He allegedly fled the scene in a black Porsche after stealing approximately $12,000 in cash. Officers later located Farthing and arrested him. A marijuana joint was reportedly found in plain view inside his vehicle, and subsequent search uncovered additional marijuana. I wonder if he was getting ready for testing at the local school,
Yeah.
All right. Farthing claimed the massive Powerball prize in April of 2025 after purchasing the winning ticket. He and his mother, Linda Grizzle, publicly accepted the check at a Kentucky lottery event, instantly becoming one of the state's largest jackpot winners in history. His legal troubles began almost immediately. Just weeks after claiming the prize, he was arrested in Pinellas County on charges including battery on a law enforcement officer, which he later pled guilty to. And in February, he was arrested a second time in Scott County, Kentucky, accused of intimidating a participant in a legal process. A woman told deputies she feared for her life while inside a home with someone who had a weapon. Investigators said Farthing texted her in an attempt to influence her statements to police. He also faces an active hit-and-run charge in Fayette County. He appeared in district court Monday, pled not guilty to the latest burglary and marijuana charges, and so his next court date is scheduled for April the 27th. The rapid succession of arrests has drawn national attention to the cautionary tale of sudden wealth. Farthing has not commented publicly on the latest charges, and his attorney told reporters, quote unquote, no comment after the arraignment. Kentucky lottery officials have previously noted that winners are not required to undergo financial counseling, though they strongly encourage it. Farthing's case is the latest high-profile example of lottery winners facing personal and legal challenges after claiming life-changing prizes.
Yeah, and just quickly on this one, first of all, I remember hearing about this guy getting in trouble several times, but $167 million is an insane amount of money, even after taxes, an insane amount of money, and you steal $14,000. That's like stealing $2 when you got that guy, maybe even $1. And whoever flees in a black Porsche.
Yeah, he's
I mean, this guy,
he feels untouchable is what I think just happened. All the things that he would want to do and how he would want to act out, now he can afford the attorneys, he can afford to bond out, he can afford everything, and so he's wilding is what it sounds like. And he's predisposed to it, I would assume.
He's losing his damn mind.
You know, I had a friend, I still have a friend, he's still my friend, that won the Louisiana lottery a while back, like years and years and years ago. And, you know, it was really cool. Obviously, it wasn't this big. But the first thing he did, from my understanding, was that he took care of his parents, you know, paid off their house and bought.
Well, that's what a lot of people
do.
And
bought a car.
Not Mr. Farthing.
And when they bought a car, you know what they bought? A Mazda. So...
Yeah, I ain't buying a Mazda, but
hey, you know,
nothing against Mazdas; they're great cars.
What I'm saying
if
is,
I got $167 million, I'm buying a.
They didn't win that big of a prize,
whatever.
But I'm just saying, very sensible, very humble people, and then you see people that do this, and so much good could be done with that much money.
Yeah,
and you want to go just continue to terrorize.
How about just don't break the law? I mean, you don't have to.
You just sounded like, wait, what's the movie with?
You don't have to go give it to GoFundMe or whatever, and I think that'd be a great thing to do. But just don't break the law.
You sounded like Jim Carrey in that movie Liar Liar. How about don't break the law, asshole?
There you go. I might be him.
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Get it together. He's got a cool look about him too. He's like all tatted and he looks rough. But like, how about be a good person and don't go steal?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, CrimeWire Weekly has moved to its own new channel.
We hope you've enjoyed this preview. To continue listening, please follow the link referenced in the description of this podcast.
Or simply search CrimeWire Weekly wherever you're listening.
And don't forget to follow the show so you can be alerted when new episodes drop.
Thanks for listening.